These hippos remind me of the fatness of the rigatoni that we will get to experience at Trattoria Santo Padre or something like that. Please go there if you're in Rome. It's amazing. This one stopped moving. Okay, cool. Guys, welcome to another travel video here at the Vertigo channel. It's actually been a few months since I did a travel video. I don't know if you saw my last one, which, funny little thing. Like, nobody saw it. Guys, the Germans really dropped the ball. The Finns, oh my god, you guys were so nice to me. You gave me all kinds of love, and genuinely, like, it felt really, really good. Italy's up next. So as I told you guys back then, me and my girlfriend, we went from Finland to Germany, and then from Germany, we went from Hamburg to Roma. And that trip was pretty easy, pretty uneventful. We took an airline called Eurowings, which, I mean, basically kind of my understanding of it is it's kind of like the German version of Spirit, which, RIP Spirit. And if you want to see a video on Spirit, I made one of those too. So please feel free to check that out. You also might have noticed the title of this video. This is very much an apology letter to the country of Italy, to give you some quick background as to what my history with the country of Italy was previously. I actually went on a pilgrimage when I was 16. My high school was an all-boys Catholic high school named after St. Francis of Assisi. And so me, my brother, and like 30 other people from my class went on this trip. Here's a couple photos on screen now. And I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't have a great time. I think I thought Italy was pretty. Well, I mean Assisi specifically, I thought Assisi was pretty. You know, I got to try some blood oranges, got to just roam the countryside. Assisi was beautiful. Really charming, really not a lot of English, and I only really knew prego and grazie and ciao. You know, like that's really the extent that I knew. And then we were in Rome, and Rome I just thought was dirty. I thought it was gross. I thought it was icky. I thought the food sucked. It was raining. It was a bunch of boys, so like naturally we just all got sick, and everybody was miserable by the end of the week, and we all wanted to go home. But that was also my first time abroad, and so for a while, Italy and the US were kind of like the only countries I'd ever been to, and technically Vatican City. And it did leave a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And so my girlfriend is this big, you know, Italianophile, like whatever they call, like people who love France are Francophiles, whatever that word is for Italy, like she's one of those. And so she really wanted to go to Italy, you know, was learning the language when I met her, really into Italian food, big pasta lover, and she hadn't gotten to go. And so I told myself, well, on this trip, I gotta make sure she goes. I gotta make sure she gets to go to Italy. And I was thinking, I made the mistake of thinking, oh, well, this trip is mostly just gonna be for her. I'll be an observer and I'll be really happy to just be able to see her happy. I could not have been more wrong. The week in Rome, the week in Italy was an absolute revelation. And I'm so sorry I misjudged the country. I'm gonna have so many things to say about Rome and about Italy and just about our experience. It was magical. That was one of the most magical weeks of my entire life. So where did we stay when we had this magical week in Italy? So I booked us an Airbnb in the Villa Borghese neighborhood, which is kind of like to the north of some of the main tourist attractions, like the Spanish Step and the Steps. The Spanish Step! That was the Spanish Steps and the Pantheon and all that. It's kind of to the north. There's that big park. It's got a museum and the zoo's near there, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's the Villa Borghese neighborhood, and I don't think we could have been more happy with it. It was really calm, away from some of the super conventionally touristy things. It was still kind of inching towards spring, so the crowd was starting to form. And we were able to feel like really staying close to that park, it really gave us some space away from some of the chaos, and it was really nice. Really comfortable, kind of a loft, a nice like spiral staircase, which was really cool. Love that. Really easy to just like walk to like really good restaurants and everything. I would recommend it. Honestly, if you are considering a stay in Rome for however much time, the Villa Borghese is kind of where it's at. And guys, you obviously cannot talk about Italia without talking about the food first. In terms of highlights, The food was unbelievable. Right where we stayed near Villa Borghese, there's a lot of really good options. Crucify me for this if you must, but our first meal in Italy was actually at a place called Legami Sushi, which was right next to where we stayed in the Airbnb. Honestly, not bad. I got this really cool like bao trio. I love bao, but again, funny that that was like the first thing that we got in Italy. I will say that other highlights from the area, there was this place that my girlfriend was able to find called Antica Trattoria Santo Padre. And I cannot throw enough flowers towards this restaurant. This restaurant easily makes my top 10 favorite restaurants in the entire world. We went 3 times in 1 week and we had like the same waitress every time. And she didn't speak any English, and my girlfriend, she can communicate a little bit in Italian, and I tried my best, just like reading something off of Google Translate. And we kind of built a rapport with this woman like all 3 times, to the point where when it was our last day, like we were able to tell her like, oh, like, this is our last day, like this has been great, we love this place. And she was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then we went to go get gelato, and on the way back she went out to take a cigarette, and me and my girlfriend do this, and she's just like this. And it's just like such a good experience, and I hope with all my heart that when we go back to Rome, like that same waitress is gonna be there. She was super cool. But guys, you gotta go to this place. I mean, the cacio e pepe is amazing, the grisha is amazing, the carbonara is amazing. Those are what they will tell you are the top 3 dishes. And the dessert, either go for like the tiramisu, or I forget what it's actually called, but it's like a cup with strawberries and whipped cream. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I normally don't really love either of those 2 things. I'm starting to realize I actually like strawberries, and maybe I like genuinely good whipped cream, because it wasn't bad. I was able to actually like scoop some out of that glass and enjoy it. And get the bread. There's also, I think, this kind of like spinach thing that people get there too. Genuinely just phenomenal restaurant. Also, I can't go to that part of the world without indulging my addiction to Aperol Spritz. And I will just tell you, if you are a fan of Aperol Spritz, that place has my favorite Aperol Spritz in the entire world. I've probably had Aperol Spritz in like 4 countries, and that one easily takes the cake. Another phenomenal restaurant was called Al Forno della Sofita. And this place was amazing. What's awesome about places like Rome is that you can kind of just like walk around a neighborhood and see where people are all kind of like congregating and gathering. A lot of Italians do eat kind of late, so if you go sort of around that like 7:30, 8 p.m. like dinner slot, and you just like look around and see which places either have a line outside or just like is really bussing, you are going to find some extremely good food. I got some kind of like spicy salami pizza. It was amazing. My girlfriend got like, I think the equivalent of like some like fancy like mozzarella cheese sticks. It was so good. It was so freaking good. This pizza was next level. I previously had negative experiences of pizza in Italy, and I could not have been more like happy with the consistent quality of those carb-based meals. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do kind of have to give a negative. There's a really famous pizza place called Pro Loco Pinciano, also in kind of like that area. And this place is just like, the windows are completely decorated with awards and stuff that they've won. And me and my girlfriend were like so excited. We're like, oh my God, like this pizza looks amazing. Like we tried to go and they were like, oh sorry, we're like completely booked for the entire evening. And so you're gonna find that too. Some places are just like not gonna be able to handle you because they're so good, and they just get like booked up before they even open. That is something that happens. So we were like, oh, okay, like we'll just go for lunch. And so this is equally our mistake. And I own it, but actually they don't have pizza for lunch. Like their lunch includes like chicken dishes, pasta, like steak and stuff. And so we go there and we realize, well, they don't have any pizza, but we still wanted to try it. So I got some kind of like chicken penne dish and came with some bread, and I might have gotten an Aperol Spritz. No, they had the limonissimos, I think is what they're called, which I think means very lemony, which it was. They're very lemony. But I just want to say, I didn't really like it. It was probably the lowest quality pasta that I had on that trip, which in America, that would be like good pasta. But in Italy, it's like no, like Santo Padre, like that's it, pasta asciutto. Like that's genuinely good pasta. That, by the way, is like kind of pasta fast food. And people line up the door. It kind of blew up on TikTok. They have a few different locations throughout the city. And I also had the carbonara there. And it's, I think it's specifically spaghetti alla carbonara. And holy shit, it's so good. I was a skeptic, and Italy kept proving me wrong every time I like raised my guard, and I'm just like, I don't really see it. I hadn't been a pasta person. Literally, before we went to Italy, the last time that I had ordered pasta was in October of 2022. Meaning, for 3.5 years, I had never ordered pasta at a restaurant, and I had my fill when we were there. Also, saving the biggest and best for last, we went to a place called Pipero. It is a Michelin star restaurant. I really wanted to make sure that we went to a Michelin star restaurant in Rome, of all places. If you watch my Finland video, I talk about Savoy, also kind of like a similar caliber of food. And so Pipero was phenomenal, super chill. It wasn't particularly crazy crowded. The ambiance was really nice. Our waitress was really cool, and we just got a lot of the tasting menu, like different like really cool crackers and like meat dishes. And they had this ceviche, which was specifically a melon ceviche. It wasn't fish. This was one of the best things I've ever tasted in my entire life. She says, oh, it's melon ceviche, which I think it was kind of like honeydew. It blew my damn mind. And that would be usurped by their version of the carbonara. That is the best pasta I've ever had in my entire life, and I will never, probably, have something better than the carbonara at Pipero. It is next level. It's expensive. Guys, it's a Michelin star restaurant, but I will tell you that I think it's absolutely worth it. The experience was really good. The drinks was good. I got my classic Aperol Spritz and then a gin and tonic. There's another spaghetti dish that was part of the course, which was really good too. I didn't love it as much. The carbonara was really where it's at. That's like what they're known for. Like, they're super famous for their carbonara. Another little tidbit about Pipero is, I don't know if you saw in one of the pictures, but there's almost this little cage, like in the middle of the table, and it has a Rubik's Cube. And they tell you, if over the course of the dinner, which is a few hours, if you can solve the Rubik's Cube, the kitchen will give you a gift. And so my brilliant girlfriend, you know, she, Bertiga, right? Always got to name drop Bertiga. She attempts it and does really, really well, gets really close. I mean, that's probably the best I've ever seen someone in person do at a Rubik's Cube. She almost solved it. And so our waitress saw that, like, we had been putting, she had been putting all that effort in, like, for over the course of the meal. And towards the end, she brings out like this little egg, and it says Pipero. And she's like, this is the gift from the kitchen. And so we open up the egg, and then in the egg is a piece of pasta. And she's like, this is a piece of pasta from the carbonara. And so we're like, that's so fucking cool. We get a souvenir from a Michelin star restaurant in Italy. Turns out, we go back to the Airbnb later that day. Tucked inside the piece of pasta is a piece of paper that has the recipe for the carbonara. We went to a Michelin star restaurant in Italy, and they gave us the recipe for their signature dish. And my girlfriend made that happen. That is extremely freaking cool. That's just like a memory that I'm so happy that we have. So guys, Pipero is amazing. The food was just completely unreal. Bit of a chaotic walk, just because, a word of advice, if you're looking for an Uber or a cab in Rome, there's a lot of them, they'll be available. But at certain times of the day, especially if you're near the city center, good luck. We were technically late to our reservation because we thought we could get a taxi. I actually had gone to H&M near the Spanish Steps to get like a blazer so I could feel good and fancy for dinner. And that took us away from the restaurant. And so we were kind of freaking out, and we ended up having to literally kind of walk/run because no taxis were able to pick us up. They were all booked. So just be careful. If you're in Rome and you're kind of dealing with rush hour, you might not be able to get a taxi. And guys, if you know me and you know this channel, you know that I'm also a soccer/football fan. I got this scarf right here that you see. This is from SS Lazio versus AC Milan. Literally, the day we went to see the Hamburg SV game, I asked my girlfriend, I'm like, do you want to go to another game? And she's like, hell yeah. So literally the first day that we were in Rome, I wanted to see who was playing. And Rome has two teams that are in the top of the league. There's Roma and there's Lazio. Lazio was in town. I didn't pick them because of any specific kind of allegiance. They were just in town. I'm sorry, Roma fans, if you're out there. And they play at the Stadio Olimpico. Really cool historic venue. Pretty easily accessible via public transportation. We took the bus, which the Rome bus system is pretty good. There was a little bit of a worry as to like how you're supposed to pay for it. Do you go up to like the little machines? Do you pay on the app? It's something that I was never able to fully understand, but somehow we made it work out. I got an Aperol Spritz, my first in Italy, right before the game. Obviously stuff right outside concessions, they're gonna overcharge you, but you'll also see vendors selling these match day scarves, which I think is like a really cool thing. And when we spent time at the Metropolitano for Atletico Madrid, it was really cool just being able to have a souvenir. So I got this, and I'm a big fan. Let's go Lazio. And so Lazio played AC Milan, and it was a really good game. Lazio ended up winning 1-0, and we were sort of like in this general area where people weren't taking their seats super seriously. Super casual, a lot of people just like having fun, a lot of young people. And I didn't realize this, but later on, I actually learned that Lazio fans had been boycotting games, I think, for the majority of the season, and actually kind of decided to show up for the AC Milan game, which was convenient because we actually got to have kind of like an actual, like a good, pretty good environment to watch the game. There were a lot of AC Milan fans. They're making a lot of noise over there in their corner, but it was really cool. And I'm pretty sure I got to see Christian Pulisic, who later, obviously represented the United States in the World Cup, which was also really cool to see. And I also just want to say that from the bottom of my heart, I really hope Italy is able to get into the World Cup again, because my God, that country just has a remarkable soccer history, and I would really like to see that. Also, speaking of food, again, that game was awesome. It was a really cool experience. The concessions were probably the best concessions I've ever had at a sporting event ever. I got some kind of like focaccia sandwich with some kind of meat and cheese, and the texture of this bread, the texture of Italian bread, I thought I had seen the best when I was in Spain. This was really, it was really good. And I've been like a Spain supremacist with just like travel and Europe and culture and food. And, again, this is part of my apology, I will remind you, but maybe there's a reason why Italy is so popular. Maybe there's a reason why Italy is so popular among Americans, why people love going to Italy and love Italian food. I had my doubts. I'm very sorry. And even just the simple stadium concession showed me how wrong I've been for a while. My girlfriend got like what they call, I think, a pizzella, just like a little pizza. That was really good too. Genuinely, like, actually pretty freaking good. Transportation, getting around. I will say that the subway system in Rome, it's pretty good. It's not as expansive as what I've experienced in Paris and Madrid, where basically at any point in the city, you're like pretty close to the nearest subway stop. Our closest was called Barberini, which was all the way down next to the movie theater, which I think was called Cinema Barberini, where we saw Hoppers. And we really liked that movie. So we saw it in Germany and we saw it in Italy. And we also saw it in the US. So it's the first time we saw a movie in 3 different countries. So hey, little cool thing there. But the subway was good. It was safe. It was pretty clean. I didn't have any problem with it. There's also a lot of bikes and scooters that you can rent through the Uber app, which I thought was really cool in Europe. We did a lot of like scooting and biking in Germany. In Italy, it was the same. Sometimes the kind of bumpy roads with the inclines can be a little tough, but you are gonna have a lot of options. Taxis are everywhere, and honestly, they're like pretty freaking good. And for the most part, we had just really good experiences with taxis. I recommend that you use them. They're really not that expensive. The city feels pretty safe as far as like just scooting and biking on the streets go. We did that like at night, during the day. I felt like it was perfectly safe. So there's no like wrong way to get around. But I will say, don't count on using exclusively the subway. You might find that you need to use some other form of transportation, especially if you're going around to a lot of different places. Obviously, Rome, there's a lot of historic sites. We got to see the Pantheon, we got to see the Colosseum. Now, when I first went, years and years ago, which at this point, God, I feel old, was almost half of my life ago, I got to drive by the Colosseum, but like I didn't get to actually go in it. So this time was a little bit different. We actually got to go in the Colosseum, explore it, get to really like see history and something that's been standing and has been a staple of the city for what's obviously like an extremely long period of time. It's cool to see people from just like around the world coming together and admiring this marvel of ancient history. And you're gonna just like have a good feeling. Rome is an incredible blend of old and new. You can be going down sort of a neighborhood and it feels fancy and elevated and everybody looks nice. And then you could also just like encounter the old world, and they're all kind of mixed together. Honestly, I'm gonna be completely real with you. If someone told me, yeah, Rome is the best city in the entire world, I wouldn't really fight you on that. I couldn't really fight you on that. Also, Italianos. If you guys are watching this video, you guys are so well dressed. You guys are so well dressed. Like, part of why I got so excited when I went to H&M just to get a blazer for the freaking Michelin star restaurant was I got to feel like I actually blended in with the people a little bit. Like, literally walking down the streets, downtown, near where we were staying, near Villa Borghese, at the freaking zoo, like at different places. Like, people just dress nicely. They dress like they care. They dress like they are part of a thriving society. And that's really cool. That's really cool. I think me and my girlfriend both had moments over the course of the trip where we're just like looking around at other people and we're like, God, I don't know if I'm dressed for this city. And so I gotta hand it to you guys. Next time I go, I'm probably gonna elevate my wardrobe just a little bit so that I don't feel like I stand out too much. But Romans are just extremely well dressed as people. And I had a lot of respect for that, and I thought that that was extremely freaking cool. The zoo was awesome. We went to the Tallinn Zoo on the same trip in Estonia. The Rome Zoo was really, really nice. Also the food there, I also got some kind of like ciabatta sandwich. Also pretty unreal. We got that and then we walked into the zoo, and there's all kinds of animals, very easily walkable, not too crazy of a maze to navigate, in my opinion. Excuse me, sir, do you have a ticket? Do you have a ticket? Hey, do you have a ticket? And we got to see stuff. I believe I started this video with a little bit on the hippos. We got to see a lot of cool animals, and it just made us really happy. We love going to the zoo, which is funny because we live in LA and we haven't even been to the LA Zoo together. So that's going to be something that we have to do. But check out zoos. If you're in another country, it's always interesting to see like what other, species they have. You're going to see like a lot of differences compared to what you might be used to in the United States. And of course, the zoo is sort of part of that Villa Borghese Park, which is really nice. We also had a picnic there. It was super chill. The weather was nice. It was the start of spring. I think we got just like a little bit of chill early on, but we got some sun. It wasn't overwhelming. Genuinely a really pleasant time to visit the city where it's not completely oversaturated with tourists. There are going to be times like the Colosseum's always going to have tourists. The Spanish Steps are always going to have a lot of tourists. The fancy stores, always. But, find those pockets. If you go to Rome, find those pockets that, are nice and they feel, safe and you vibe with them. And you just get to like have a nice little Italian relaxation. Take a day trip. Florence is really close. The coast is pretty close. I find myself wanting to go to a lot of other cities in Italy. I would love to go to Bologna and Torino and Genoa. I would love to go to those cities. And so we don't specifically know when we're going back to Italy, but I'm just gonna tell you guys, we cannot go back quickly enough. And saving this part for last, it was me and my girlfriend's anniversary, of 1 year anniversary when we were there. And a long time ago, I had kind of casually mentioned, like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, we spent our 1 year anniversary in Rome? And when I say things like that, like, I take it seriously. And we did. We got to spend our anniversary in Rome. And one of the things that I wanted to get for her was I booked us a pasta making class, which I thought would just be like cute and sweet and just like a fun thing to do. So we booked a class through Airbnb Experiences. It was a class by this guy named Emanuele. There will be a link in the description to his class. I cannot say enough good things about this man. He was funny. He was energetic. He spoke like Italian, French, and English throughout the class. Our class was pretty small. I think we had like 12 people. It was like a little studio in a slightly sketched part of the city. There was like a lot of young people and they were just having fun and it felt safe, but like, it's just not as pretty as other parts of Rome. But once you get in there, it's amazing. Like, he's got this pasta studio and all these boards, and I never like made dough before. I never rolled it. I got to do that. I got to learn how to make different pasta shapes. I got to learn how to make the filling for like the ravioli, which was basically like ricotta and like spinach and nutmeg and salt and pepper. So basic, so simple, so good. And so we did that for like a couple hours. We made a few different shapes. I want to really thank Emanuele because I made a pretty stupid mistake when we were making the pasta. I was having trouble when I was rolling it, and I was trying to put pressure, and it was like getting little holes. And I thought that, if it gets holes, if it gets holy, if the pasta's holy, that means it's not good. It's not good. And so I folded it. Guys, I folded the fucking pasta. You're not supposed to do that. And so he sees that, and I think he has a reaction like, no, oh. But then he's like, no, it's okay. He had a little bit of like a big personality and a nice accent. So I'm kind of trying to, bring that to life a little bit. I want you to get to know the man as I tell the story. And so he's like, it's okay. And so it was, you know, like I made it really thin. It turned out okay texturally once it was cooked and everything, which, you know, as it turns out, you really don't have to cook pasta for too long. You just get it to that boiling water where it's about right. And then he served us some Prosecco. He also served us some red wine. Extremely nice. And I thought this entire experience was just like a really good value for what you pay for it. We're basically paying for 4 hours of his time, for his resources, for his ingredients, for his expertise. And I can't say enough good things about his style, his presentation, his humor, the way that he teaches. That was the first time I ever like really got to make pasta. We made pasta from scratch. It was so cool. It was really enriching. We both had a really good time. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much, Emanuela. And we did leave with some souvenirs. I mean, this paper endured some intercontinental travel, but he gave us the freaking recipe for the pasta. Just very straightforward, very well done. And we also got to wear these hats, which again has also needed to survive an intercontinental journey. Yeah, so I got to be an Italian chef. I got to learn from a guy who's just like a legit pasta master. This dude like just really knows what he's talking about. So nice, so funny. Genuinely, I keep saying this, but take his class. He is so cool, and I wish him all the love and support that I can possibly give him. I probably would go take his class again, even if it's just the exact same thing. I would want to do that again. So, Emanuela, God bless you. You're super cool. And thank you for showing us a good time and for being such a good teacher. That experience was extremely memorable, and I will not forget it. So this brings us to the climax of the video. What we've all been building up to. Italy, Italia. I messed up. I was really young. I was foolish. I was ungrateful. I didn't know what you had to offer me. I only knew you as a vague simulacrum of a country that was being presented to me at the time, by people who weren't really trying to get me to know you. People who had an agenda. People who wanted me to just see a specific version of you. I was deprived of the natural process of exploring. I didn't find my own food. I didn't find my own Italian culture and vibrancy and interest. I got sick, mentally and physically. I got homesick. I didn't walk around and smell the roses and see what was around me. I didn't really know what you had to offer. I failed you. I wasn't able to be in the right mindset. Someone special came into my life. Someone special came into my life who was destined to show me the right way. Show me your value. Show me what brilliance Italy offers, not only its people, but the rest of the world. And that is the love of my life. That is Bertiga. The reason why I went to Italy. And I came back a super fan. I could not begin to express my true feelings about the country. Italy is one of the greatest places in the entire world, if not the greatest place in the entire world. I am so sorry I doubted you. I'm so sorry I was a skeptic. Your people are one of a kind. Your language is one of a kind. Your food is one of a kind. Your streets, one of a kind. Everyone was so nice. We were treated so well. They didn't know how horrible I was inside. They didn't know where I was coming from. They didn't know my previously anti-Italian ways. But I will spend the rest of my life preaching the gospel of the brilliance of Italy. Mi dispiace tanto. Espero che tu mi perdoni. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you, Italy. We had the time of our life. We will go back. Thank you guys for watching this video. Mexico's up next. Peace.